Hello Internet, Gino, aka That Pinguino, here again with another deep look. This time I'm going to be taking a look at Legend of Legaia for the PlayStation 1, and to help me look at the combat system in this game is Rothgar.
Hello everybody.
What we're going to be looking at specifically is what about this game's combat system really sets it apart from other RPGs in the time period, and really other RPGs in general. This is a turn-based role-playing game published by Square for the early PS1. I believe it's from the makers of Legend of Dragoon, but it's definitely...
I think it is. It's very similar
in
nature. It's
in the same vein. It is a kind of B-tier RPG, but what really sets it apart is this menu right here. So, go to attack. Usually, in an RPG, that would just let you attack. You just do some move.
Basic slash or hit or punch.
Yep. But in this game, I can go auto or I can go command. Now, if I go auto, he'll just do some moves. But if I go command, I can actually put in which right, left, high, low, which combination of punches and kicks I would like him to do. So if I go something like left, high, left, okay, I'm gonna get hit by this gigantic evil butterfly.
Butterfly, yeah.
Punch, kick, punch. Now, just being able to input, you know, which limbs I'm going to do, there is an element of strategy just to that. So this butterfly, what do butterflies do?
They die when you get, punched by something?
That, and they fly. So if I go ahead and go low at the end of this, actually let's low, left, right. I miss if I go low.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So there are short enemies where if you go high, you'll miss. There are flying enemies where if you go low, you'll miss. So knowing, I can't use low moves against this butterfly or else my move will just miss. There's one element of strategy that this system adds. But also, you can see that little AP meter?
Yes.
I got 100 AP right now. I'm going to go ahead and hit triangle and look at the hyper arts list. So, Vaughn, if you put in a particular combination of punches and kicks, will do a special move. So I'm going to get attacked by this butterfly again. Now it's my turn. The people's elbow.
Hyper elbow coming at you.
And that killed it. So what's unique about this is not just putting in the commands to get the attacks to come out, but the special moves you get in this game are not taught to you by leveling or anything like that. It's not like you unlock a power move when you hit level 2.
Gain some new ability or somebody teaches you a new skill.
Yep. When you hit, it's not like at level 5 you get punch. At level 6 you get power, kick. In this game, as long as you know what the actual commands you need to input are for a special move, you can just do it. As long as you've got a long enough meter to fit all the punches and kicks
from level
that are
1,
necessary.
like from the beginning of the game. Yeah.
Yep. So right now, I was taught in the game tutorial like one move, just somersaults, but I can actually do any number of them. And so I know another move that is not on this hyper arts list. Power punch, left, down. And so wasn't on my arts list, but I just put in that command and new arts.
New art.
Punch you in your face. And you can just do that whenever you want. As long as you know what the commands are, you can just bust out moves like that. Another cool thing is, I'm not going to be able to do it because Vaughn's really low level, but the last move of a special move, so if it's like up, down, up, that up that ends the somersault can also be the first input of another super move.
So they're like chained together into one another.
Yep. So think like if you were in Street Fighter and you did crouching medium into fireball.
Yeah, they would buffer into one another, sort of like the end of the last move perfectly is designed to fit into the beginning of the next move.
Yes. And so you can bust out combos that way. And so this game gives you a whole lot of freedom in terms of chaining moves together, being kind of inventive with your combos, figuring out the best way to approach a given enemy.
It does let the player have a little more control over how they want to fight in a game, and I suppose in an RPG style like this, that's just going to be a bonus, and it will really set a game apart from other RPGs like it.
Yep, and something else cool is if I go ahead and hit the spirit function here, this is kind of like a defend in ordinary role-playing games, but this one on top of just See, he blocked. It raises his block rate a little bit, and it would lower the damage of magic attacks. But it also extends my little combo meter there. So now I can fit in. Let's see. Can I only fit 4? Yeah. Oh, I can fit 5 now. So let me show off that that chaining thing. Power punch, and then charging scorch.
Perfect.
So
nice.
Because all those moves synced together perfectly, I did 120 damage, which is not too shabby.
Not too shabby at all.
For level 2 Vaughn. Thanks, game, for being accommodating.
So, like, what other games, you know, have a similar combat system like this that really take it to the next level besides just select menu attack?
Well, some other examples of games that do this kind of stuff. Final Fantasy VIII does it with all the limit breaks in that game, but specifically Zell. He's a fighter, fights with his hands, and whenever he does a limit break, you actually have to physically input, you know, circle X, put in the inputs as fast as possible to chain together attacks. And like this game, you have access to all of your moves as long as you know where they are. Learning the move, I'm throwing quotes around that, only actually adds that technique to kind of your list. It'll show you, hey, you have the option of doing this move, but if you know you have the option of doing like his final limit break, you can just do it.
Like from early levels, if you know how to put in the combo, you just do it, and it busts out right immediately.
And literally in the first fight you have with Zell, you could use his final limit break.
Wow.
Yep. And so that's one game. And since in Final Fantasy VIII you can just use limit breaks whenever your HP's low, so there's a more advanced technique.
Yeah, very
he
cool.
hits twice.
Very cool.
Since you can use limit breaks from the very beginning of that game, Zell can kind of play like this, because he just only would use limit breaks instead of doing regular attacks. And in Final Fantasy VI, Sabin in that game, he's one of the characters. He has a special move that kind of requires you to put in fighting game commands to actually get him to perform special
like
moves.
Quarter circles and stuff like that?
Quarter circles, up, down, left, right, that sort of stuff. So you learn the moves by leveling up, but even if you level up and unlock a move, you can't actually perform it until you hit the right button combination.
So let me ask you one more thing. Is there anything about this fighting system? I mean, obviously we're early in the game now, but does it get more advanced later on? Like, how actually creative can you be with this fighting game system? Will it eventually get boring to just choose between up, down, left, right?
The cool thing here is, organically, because of the nature of how big this bar is and the speed of your characters, you can see that Vaughn is not acting first in most of these fights. He's getting hit first. There are 2 other characters that you'll unlock, Noah and Gala. Noah is faster, and her action meter's longer. Gala is slower, his action meter's shorter. So as a result of purely their meter size and their speed, you kind of want to change the way you play. So see, here I've got attack, and I've got meta. This is actually my magic. So Vaughn kind of sits in the middle. He can use magic and attacks and kind of do both pretty well. So I'm going to use magic on this thing. This is going to be way overkill. But since Vaughn kind of sits in the middle, he can do both pretty adeptly. Noah, from like the word go, she can bust out 4-hit combos just from the start without using a charge up or anything like that.
That was pretty impressive.
Yeah. That thing hits Howard.
Yes.
So, since Noah's fast and has a long action meter, you're going to want to move her towards physical attacks and move her towards just as much physical output as you can.
Right,
she's going to be able to combo, she's going to be able to do all sorts of stuff like that.
Makes sense.
Gala, since he's slower and has a short little action meter, the teensy one, busting out actual combos with him is so difficult at early levels that you're going to want to skew him towards magic. And it's not that, you know, I look at their stat menu and say, oh, Gala's magic's really high and Noah's attack's really high, so I should skew them that way. It's purely because this input bar is so small, there's no way for me to do combos the way I would need to for this person to be a power attacker.
So this input bar not only gives the player more control over their combat style, but it also gives the player, I guess, sort of extra knowledge of what the most optimum build paths for their party characters are.
Yes, and all of it is coming just from, hey, I need to fill this bar with attacks whenever I'm going to want to attack. so many games just give you, hey, this is the magic guy, he's got the magic command, so you probably want to spec him towards magic.
Of course.
In this, it is, hey, I can only put in 2 attacks. It takes at least 3 inputs to do a special move. A special move, and special moves are the way to deal damage in this game. So if I can't do special moves with this guy, how am I going to maximize his damage so that he's not just worthless, doing like
gotta be magic.
15 damage? He's got to be a magic user. And so you kind of spec him that way naturally. Also, he acts last. So if you get lit up by magic, he's going to be the last person who's capable of healing in a fight.
True.
If you use a heal with Noah, who acts first, all that healing can be undone by the time her turn comes around again. Gala's always going to have the last word in the fight, and it's actually an advantage if you're going to make him a healer. So if you see, like, Vin has attack, speed, agility, intelligence, upper defense and lower defense. That's another interesting thing with this game.
Oh, yeah,
if
like
you get
high-low
hit high,
blocking, yeah.
High-low, but also high-low damage.
Really?
So if you've got a good helmet, your damage if someone hits you high will be lower than if they hit you low.
That's really cool.
But if you got good armor, you're low, or good pants, good boots.
Good pants. You can go pretty far with good pants.
Yes.
So does this apply to the enemies too? Like you said, like a butterfly, you know, if you hit them low,
It won't
miss
do
chance. So that applies for the enemies too. Let me ask you another quick question. Is there anything maybe you'd want to add to this besides just the ability to sort of like control and choose your attacks? Is there any like feature maybe you'd say like they could have been a little more ambitious with?
Yeah, like if anyone wants to take a system like this and move forward, because I think it's ripe for RPGs at this point. It seems like a lot of games are just moving towards like FF13, just throw away the menu-driven stuff.
Yeah, and they have
at all.
paradigms and stuff that
Yep.
pretty much got it for you.
Or just do the entire. We're making it like an action game, so it's all free-form combat all the time.
Something like Dynasty Warriors or Kingdom Hearts or just free-form action.
Yeah.
You know, you're doing everything yourself in real time.
We want it to be like God of War.
Yeah, God of War games.
Yeah, but this game, I think, if there's a developer out there, this game could really use some active defense. Like,
Interesting.
I'm in complete control of how my attacks are going to go. I'll know if they'll land, I'll know if they're miss, depending on how I put them in. But blocking is the only thing that's still up to chance here. Like, adding in a system where maybe the blocking is more active, so you're not just sitting there praying, oh god, I hope that this move that this crazy slime monster is about to do won't wipe me out. Because that is one of the central flaws with this game's combat system, is that it's punishingly difficult in some of the early boss fights. You just kind of have to pray that the enemy is not going to use
A specific move that would wipe you out.
Yep, that will just kill you, and then you have absolutely no chance.
Maybe if they added like an option that said like block high or block low, and then you'd have at least a little bit of a chance to reduce damage, or maybe even add some kind of parry or counter ability. Maybe not, you know, base, but you know, as you get later in the game, or maybe specific characters can counter. That'd probably be pretty cool, right?
Yep, and just making it a little more active so that you're not just kind of sitting there with your fingers crossed.
Praying to the random number gods that you block this attack.
Yeah. So that is a look at Legend of Legaia's combat system. There's also some really cool stuff I can't really show right now because we're not that far in. Some of the summons in the game, some of the magic, is actually positional. So if there are enemies that are physically bunched up on the battlefield, they'll get hit by a magic, but if they're spread out, they won't get hit at all.
Like
so,
front row, back row kind of stuff.
No, not front row, back row. Like in 3D space, if they are bunched up against each other, there could be an attack that like comes down from above and drops like a meteor on top of them, and it will hit them all together because they're in a clump. Or an attack that will come out and kind of sweep in an arc in front of the magic user, and if the enemies happen to be positioned in front of them, it'll hit multiple enemies.
Real hit boxes.
Yes.
Oh, that's very cool.
So the magic I used, Gimmerd, it only ever hits one enemy, so it's not a great example of this, but some of the later magics, actually it's kind of the mid-tier magic, will hit depending on how enemies are lined up on the battlefield. The later game magic just hits everyone all the time.
Okay. So
this game really took advantage of 3D space in a way that most games don't.
Well, it sure did, yeah.
And I'm amazed that this system got left in the dust.
True.
It's a really great game. You should check it out. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'm glad you helped me out.
Yeah, no problem, that Beguino. Love doing it.
All right, so we're gonna take a look at some other games in the near future. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know. Peace.